Hey everybody, High Lord Tamberlin here with yet another Obscurity in Miniature. Today we have in front of us the legendary Wax Looking. This is my miniature of the moment. Why is she my miniature of the moment? Well, because I finally remembered where I put her. I had no idea where she was. Turns out she was in a box of other stuff inside of a box in a very Inception-like manner. So, this is not the regular version of Wax Looking. Wax Looking is the character that you get if you buy the Warrior Nation starter set. And she's very boring and plain and has a bunch of little derpy knives and very tiny, fragile ankles, which broke on my figure and ended up having her get tossed in the trash, and now I no longer own her. I do, however, own the legendary version, and the legendary version of these figures tend to be way more interesting looking sculpts. They're quite dynamic, and as you can see, she's got stuff going all over the place on her base. To me, that's the one big downside. With all of these legendary figures so far, at least, from Wild West Exodus, both under the original publisher and with Warcradle, they tend to have very large 50mm, or I want to say they're called large-scale bases in Wild West Exodus lingo, rather than just the regular good old-fashioned 30mm ones. So, what is it that really appeals to me? For one thing, I thought her outfit was really boring with the original one. She's got her blindfold on, and you can kind of see it there. If I can get her... There we go. I know it's not the best paint job, but you know what? Shut up. So, you can see she's got her blindfold now. At least on this one, she's got like these elaborate tassels or something hanging off. She's got her ponytails going. There's like little bead work on her thighs, and she's got like the loincloth and stuff on the back. I was trying to do something with the colors for her cloth, and it came out not exactly how I wanted it, but you know what? It gets the job done. At least the base looks somewhat decent. I made an absolute mess with the whatever this Dragonball Z energy explosion is as she dashes off with her energy knives. The original figure is supposed to just have a pair of, metal knives. This one's got magic energy ones. So, very dynamic pose. I want to say there was actually a spot for her rear foot to slot into this energy explosion, which then, glues onto the base. As I said earlier, the original figure, it's pretty plain. It's in a weird pose. It's just kind of standing there, and she had really, really thin ankles that totally, completely snapped on me. So, the figure itself isn't much larger than an average Wild West Exodus figure. So that needs to be stated. We have little Marshall Bass here, base. So you can see, there's not a huge size difference, but obviously that base is going to take up a lot of real estate. So if you're playing a game where base size is really important, that's something to keep in mind. However, I vaguely recall that in the actual Wild West Exodus game, I haven't seen a rule since they've updated it, but I know she came with a whole toolbox full of goodies to really, put the hurt on people. So there is that to keep in mind. One other thing is she's resin, so all these tiny little bits were the biggest pain in the butt to get to stick. Now, obviously, I would not recommend gluing her onto the base first. I put her together bit by bit, and finally the last thing we did was glue her on. But, yeah, getting all those pieces to line up and stay was not pleasant. In fact, I'm pretty sure I pinned something on somewhere. The more I keep looking at her, the more I keep thinking I did that. But, she's a cool-looking model. And you don't see a lot of... And for as scantily clad as she may be, she's actually wearing more clothing, I think, than the original model. At least she looks cool with it. So, that's always a plus. So with that said, this has been another miniature of the moment. You can check her out. She is still available through Warcradle's web store. I've seen her pop up there, and she shows up every now and then online as well. So if you're in the mood for a dynamically posed, casually dressed Friday warrior woman of the Indian Native American tribes, it's definitely something different. Can't argue that. Now, of course, the more interesting one is, I don't have yet, is her crazy, evil, possessed version that the Dark Nation gets to use, and she's like all eviled out. So, something further to go down the line. they ever end up resculpting the basic one, I might have to grab it at that. But for the time being, at least I've got her done. She's shown up in games of Shadows of Brimstone before as our Indian Scout, where she absolutely decimated everything in hand-to-hand combat. But the problem is this stinking base. It's just too big. But it is what it is. So, see you later, Marshall. And we will now have to bid farewell to our walks looking as well. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamerlane's Miniature of the Moment, with his Obscurities and Miniature saying bye-bye.